You ever meet someone who just can't stop talking about what they're going to do? They sit you down, they lean in close, and they spill every detail of their master plan. They've got it all figured out. The business they're going to start, the book they're going to write, the weight they're going to lose, the empire they're going to build. But fast forward a few months, and nothing's changed. Same person, same story, same empty promises. You see, life doesn't respond to words. It responds to action. It responds to proof. You don't convince the world by saying what you'll do. You convince the world by doing it. I want you to think about this. Have you ever seen a tree announce that it's growing? Have you ever heard a lion give a speech before it hunts? No. Nature doesn't explain itself. It just is. The tree simply grows. The lion simply hunts. And because of that, the world respects them. But people? Oh, people love to talk. And that's the problem. See, when you talk about your goals, before you act on them, two things happen. First, you get a false sense of accomplishment. The brain rewards you for talking about success the same way it rewards you for achieving it. You feel good, like you've already done something, except you haven't done anything at all. Second, the moment you tell the world what you're going to do, you invite opinions. And opinions are dangerous because some will doubt you, some will laugh at you, some will tell you it's impossible, and before you know it, their doubts become your doubts. Their fears become your fears. You start questioning yourself. You start hesitating, and hesitation kills momentum. But when you work in silence, when you build in the dark, you remove all that noise. You eliminate distractions. You don't give people a chance to discourage you because they don't even know what you're up to. Now, I'm not saying you should never speak about your goals, but I am saying speak less and do more. Because when you spend too much time explaining what you're going to do, you lose the energy to actually do it. Have you ever noticed that the people who talk the least about their plans tend to accomplish the most? They don't need to announce their every move because they're too busy making moves. And when they finally reveal what they've been working on, it's already done. It's already successful. And people are left in shock. That's the way to operate. Let your success do the talking. Let your results be the proof. Because when you have results, you don't need validation. You don't need permission. You don't need to convince anyone of anything. Think about a great athlete. The best basketball player doesn't need to argue about being the best. His performance on the court settles the debate. The best entrepreneur doesn't have to explain why he's successful. His bank account does that for him. The best speaker doesn't need to convince you that he's inspiring. You feel it when he speaks. Results is that they silence criticism. Because before success, people will doubt you. They'll question your abilities. They'll tell you all the reasons why it won't work. But after success, those same people will pretend they always believed in you. You see, people respect what they see, not what they hear. And that's why your focus should always be on doing, not talking. Now, I want you to ask yourself a question. Are you spending more time talking about your plans than actually executing them? Be honest. Because the difference between the successful and the unsuccessful is simple. One group is busy talking and the other is busy working. There's a quote I love that says, "A lion never has to tell the world it's a lion, it just is." And when it roars, the jungle knows. The same applies to you. Work in silence. Build in private. Let people see the finished product, not the process. Because when you show up with results, you don't need to explain anything. The proof is already there. There's something powerful about the unknown, something almost magical. When people don't know your next move, they can't predict you. They can't stop you, they can't interfere. You move in silence, and when the results appear, the world is left wondering, how did they do it? See, most people can't help but reveal everything they're thinking, everything they're planning. The moment they have an idea, they tell their friends. The moment they set a goal, they announce it to the world. The moment they make progress, they make sure everyone knows. And what happens? That mystery, that power, that edge, it disappears. Because the moment people know what you're doing, they begin forming opinions. Some will doubt you, some will try to discourage you, some will try to steal your ideas. Others will wait for you to fail just so they can say, "I told you so." But when you keep things to yourself, you hold all the power. You stay in control. You don't have to deal with unnecessary criticism, and you don't give people the chance to plant seeds of doubt in your mind. Think about it. Why do we respect magicians? Because they operate in mystery. We don't know how they pull off their tricks, and that makes them intriguing. The moment a magician explains his secret, the magic is gone. The trick loses its power. The same is true for you. If you reveal everything you're working on before it's ready, you lose the magic. You give people too much access to your thoughts, your dreams, your ambitions. And when people have access, they have influence, and not all influence is good. Have you ever noticed that the most successful people tend to be the most unpredictable? You don't always know their next move. You don't always know what they're working on, and yet somehow they keep winning. That's not by accident, that's by design. Because mystery creates intrigue. It makes people pay attention. It forces them to watch closely, to wonder, to speculate. And by the time they figure it out, it's already too late. The success is already there, and they're left watching in awe. Now, some might say, but I like sharing my goals. It keeps me accountable. That's a mistake. Because when you tell people your goals, two things happen. First, you get a false sense of accomplishment. Your brain rewards you for saying what you're going to do as if you've already done it. You feel good just talking about it, but talking is not doing. Second, you give away leverage. The moment people know your plan, they can interfere, they can plant doubt, they can question you, they can criticize, they can even copy you. But if they don't know, they can't interfere. They can't question what they don't see. They can't stop what they don't know exists. Silence is power, mystery is protection. Pick at the great leaders of history, the great warriors, the great entrepreneurs. They didn't announce every move before they made it. They strategized behind closed doors. They moved in silence. They let the world see the results, not the process. And that's why they won. And yet, so many people put themselves under unnecessary pressure without even realizing it. They do it every time they announce their plans too soon, every time they seek validation before they take action, every time they let the expectations of others dictate their own timeline. See, there's a strange thing about human nature. The moment you tell people what you're working on, they start watching you. They start expecting. And suddenly, instead of focusing on the actual work, you're focused on proving yourself. Instead of moving at your own pace, you start rushing. Instead of learning, improving, and refining, you feel the need to perform. And that's when the weight of unnecessary pressure starts crushing you. You ever seen someone announce that they're going to lose weight? They tell their friends, their family, maybe even post it on social media. This is my year. I'm getting in shape. And at first, it feels great. People cheer them on, they get support, they feel motivated. But then something changes. The moment they slip up, the moment they miss a workout, eat the wrong thing, or don't see results fast enough, suddenly that excitement turns into pressure. People start asking, how's the fitness journey going? They feel the weight of expectations. The fear of failure sets in. And before they know it, the pressure becomes too much. They quit. Not because they couldn't do it, but because they couldn't handle the pressure of proving it. That's unnecessary pressure. That's pressure they created by talking too soon. Think about it. If they had kept it to themselves, if they had simply done the work without announcing it, there wouldn't be any expectations, no one to answer to, no one to impress. Because when people don't see you coming, they can't prepare for you. When they don't know your plans, they can't block you. When they don't know your next move, they stay on edge, wondering, guessing, trying to figure you out while you move forward, undisturbed. There's a reason why the best poker players don't reveal their hands until the very end. They don't sit there announcing what cards they have. They stay quiet. They let the game play out. And then, when the moment is right, they reveal and they win. That's how you should move in life. Keep them guessing, keep them wondering, keep them in the dark until you're ready to shine. Because when you hold the power of mystery, you hold the power of control. Pressure can either make you or break you. Some pressure is good. It sharpens you, keeps you alert, forces you to rise to the occasion. But unnecessary pressure, that's a weight you don't need to carry. That's the kind of pressure that slows you down, drains your energy, and stops you before you even get started. The same thing happens in business. Someone gets an idea, and instead of quietly working on it, they start telling everyone. They talk about how it's going to be the next big thing. They hype it up. But what happens when progress is slower than expected? When they hit obstacles? When things don't go exactly as planned? Now, they're stuck. Now they feel trapped by their own words because they told the world they were going to succeed, and now they're terrified of looking like a failure. Instead of adjusting, learning, and improving, they start forcing things, making rushed decisions just to save face. That's unnecessary pressure, pressure that never needed to exist in the first place. Because here's the thing, when you don't announce your plans, you give yourself space to grow. You give yourself permission to make mistakes without judgment. You get to fail in private, adjust in peace, and succeed without the extra noise. Some of the most successful people in the world operate this way. They don't talk about what they're doing, they just do it. They don't make big announcements, they make big moves. And when they finally reveal their success, it's already done, already complete. No unnecessary pressure, no wasted energy on explaining, defending, or proving. But when you tell people too soon, you put yourself in a mental cage. You stop doing things because they make sense for you, and you start doing things because you feel obligated to prove something. And that's the fastest way to slow yourself down. Because real progress isn't made under the pressure of public expectation. It's made in the quiet moments when no one is watching. It's made in the unseen hours when you're learning, testing, refining. It's made when you give yourself the freedom to move without the weight of the world on your shoulders. There's something powerful about silence. Something unstoppable about moving in the shadows, working when no one is watching, and then showing up with results that leave people speechless. See, the world is full of talkers, people who love to tell you what they're going to do, what they're planning, what their big dreams are. But real impact, real success, that comes from the people who don't say much. The people who move in silence and let their achievements do all the talking. Think about it. How many times have you heard someone go on and on about the business they're going to start, the book they're going to write, the changes they're going to make? And yet months pass, even years, and they're still in the same place, still talking, still making excuses. Why? Because they spent all their energy talking about it instead of doing it. You don't owe the world an explanation. You don't need to convince anyone that you're going to do something great. Just do it. Work in the dark, stay focused, and when the time is right, let your results introduce you. Because when you succeed without warning, people don't question it, they don't doubt it, they don't get in your way, they just sit back, amazed, wondering how you pulled it off. You see, when people don't know what you're up to, they can't interfere. They can't discourage you. They can't tell you why it won't work. They can't give you their unwanted opinions, their fears, their doubts. And that's important because sometimes it's not failure that stops people from achieving greatness. It's the constant pressure, the expectations, the noise from the outside world that makes them second-guess themselves. But when you stay quiet, you eliminate all of that. You remove the pressure. You give yourself the freedom to fail in private, learn in private, adjust in private, so that when you finally show up with results, they're undeniable. They're real, and no one can take that away from you. Let's talk about strategy. Some of the greatest minds in history, the most successful people in business, sports, and life have understood the power of moving in silence. They don't announce their every step. They don't waste time explaining. They just build, create, and execute. A great chess player doesn't reveal their strategy before making a move. A great general doesn't announce his attack before the battle begins. A great entrepreneur doesn't spend time convincing people that their idea is going to change the world. They just go out and change it. Because the truth is, people respect results, not promises, not explanations, not grand speeches about what's coming next. Results. And when you surprise the world with achievement, you don't just gain success, you gain power. Power over doubt, power over expectations, power over the distractions that slow most people down. You put yourself in a position where people take notice not because you told them to, but because they have no choice. Look at any major success story, and you'll see this pattern. The overnight success that wasn't really overnight. The person who seemed to come out of nowhere but had actually been working behind the scenes for years. The entrepreneur who suddenly launched a billion-dollar company but had been grinding in silence while everyone else was talking. That's the way to win. That's the way to move. Let the others talk. Let them announce, explain, and seek validation. You focus on the work. You focus on making moves that matter. And when the time comes, when your achievements are undeniable, let the world see what you've built without a single word spoken beforehand.